Since the dawn of the home console, CDs and cartridges have been used to store data of some of your favorite games. Like that CD right there. Let me grab it. If I put this in my Dreamcast, we get to play one of the best Sonic games of all time. But let's take a step back for a minute. Let's take a closer look at that CD. With only the use of 3 colors, Sonic Team was able to convey so much information to the player on the disc alone. We see the logo, and we see the 2 hedgehogs that correlate with the colors on the disc. The lighter colors contrast with being a good guy, and we can see that both Sonic and Sonic's quills on the logo both use that lighter color, while Shadow, who's a bad guy, is represented with a darker color which can be seen on him as well as his quills on the logo. The GameCube version also has that light and dark dynamic on the logo, but it also adds the nice little detail of highlighting Shadow's red patches of fur, which is absent from the Dreamcast version of the disc. Poses we can see Sonic and Shadow in are different now, and they aren't colored in with their respective colors like seen on the Dreamcast disc, but it's also a tiny GameCube disc that you're only going to look at for like 5 seconds, unless you're me. But we're not just stopping at Sonic Adventure 2. I have a whole catalog of Sonic games to look at in today's video, so strap in, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Heroes for the GameCube only have their logos on the disc, so yet another reason to throw Heroes in the trash. Man, I sure hope I don't get jump scared by Sonic's face when I open up this case. Sonic 06 is a lot of things. And I feel like it's only fitting that a game that makes me want to put a bullet in my PS3 has a giant hole right in the middle of Sonic's head. Something about the way he's looking straight at you with that smirk is just kind of unsettling. Like, he knows something that you don't, and if you ask him to tell you, he'll just say no, because he can. Maybe they could have done something like what they did for Shadow the Hedgehog in the PlayStation 2. And there they put the logo at the top of the disc and then the main character portrait on the side of the disc. I always prefer to see original artwork used for a disc instead of just the box art of the game, but in this case, I figured using what's on the box art is better than this. Now for Sonic Unleashed. This is the one they got right. I mean, just look at it. The white line down the middle at an angle with Sonic the Hedgehog on one side and Sonic the Werehog on the other. All your logos plastered underneath the main attraction of the game. The name of the game is centered underneath the disc holder, which perfectly contrasts the Hedgehog and the Werehog's placement on the disc. When you look at this disc, your eyes are drawn to these 3 places, which is going to excite anyone who wants to go play the game. Now, what if instead of being specific characters on the disc, it's just a pattern? Well, that's where Sonic and the Black Knight comes into play. First off, the logo for Sonic and the Black Knight just goes so hard, but on top of that, this pattern is so intricate, and while the patterns mean nothing to the plot of the game, it looks so regal and fits perfectly with the game, if that makes sense. It follows the pattern that the Storybook series games have with putting patterns on their discs, and while Sonic and the Secret Rings American disc is nothing to write home about, the UK version of the disc uses this intricate design philosophy and not just a generic pattern, which I absolutely adore, and these nice colors contrast perfectly with the game disc. Discs aren't the only thing we're looking at today though. Cartridges like Sonic Rush, although simple in design, look perfect for their game. The blue and purple meant to represent Sonic and Blaze respectively, the logo front and center of the small cartridge, all the other nonsense at the bottom. Now this is how you make a cartridge look cool. Moving on from that, we're actually going to review 2 different cartridges at once, but I feel like it's important to talk about these 2 together, because one is being praised for the exact same thing that makes me dislike the other. Those being Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the Genesis, and Sonic Rush's sequel, Sonic Rush Adventure. Both these games share the core concept of having Sonic front and center and the logo on the top of them, but in my eyes, Sonic 1 does this so much better than Rush Adventure. I think first and foremost, Sonic 1 has a lot more space to work with than Rush Adventure does. You get this whole area to work with on the Sonic 1 cartridge, and you only get this little area for Rush Adventure, which makes it really hard to put characters on there. I believe this is a part of the reason why Rush opted to just use the color to represent its characters, instead of actually trying to put characters on the cartridge. That also brings up the question, why only put Sonic on the cartridge? This game is about Sonic and Blaze, so why is Sonic the only one who makes it on the cartridge? Sonic 1 makes sense because, well, he's the only playable character in the game, but for Rush Adventure, it just makes no sense because there are 2 main character players, not just Sonic. I understand that he's the mascot of the series, but you can't just disregard one of your main characters because they aren't as relevant as the other one. Also, one thing to note is that Sonic 1 needed to show off their character on the cartridge. When playing Sonic 1, you can see the game cartridge sticking out of the Genesis, but when playing Sonic Rush Adventure, all you could see is some lazy bum sitting on his butt playing a video game on his 11-year-old Nintendo 2DS. Hey! The last cartridge I wanted to touch on real quick before going back to discs was Sonic Generations. I just really liked how they used Green Hill as a background image. I don't know, I really like it. But anyways, back to discs now. Sonic Riders uses this really nice blue hue as a background and has everything else colored in with black. It's really simple, but I think it has a really nice design overall. You can see Jet on the left, Sonic on the right, both riding their extreme gear. Finally, the last game I wanted to talk about is Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. Now, one thing this disc does that no other disc does that we've talked about thus far is that it actually helps complete an image in the game cartridge. Look, when the game is in the case and rotated at the right angle, you can clearly see the rest of Sonic's body within the case of the game itself. It's these little details that made me love these older titles so much. The disc only uses this faded blue color, and then there's the disc's natural color, in order to create an image, which makes me appreciate the artistic liberties taken for this game's disc. I mean, the only thing that truly are blue are the outlines that would normally be black, and Sonic's fur, which I think is just a really cool way to show off your talents as an artist, and an amazing choice of style for Sonic. Anyways, that's enough talking about discs for one day. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you agreed, disagreed with me, or if there are some that you think that I missed in this video. Anyways, have a great day everyone. Peace.